now we could start talking about a size of school. And a common point of reference for most students is their own high school. So when they don't know how to start talking about that, okay, if your school has 400 students in a class, how do you feel about that? And so you give them a point of reference that they understand, and you go from there. And that's, you know, the way it's the categories are small, mid-size, and large, and they're very varied. So start with a point of reference that they really understand. What are some of the things that would be in a larger or smaller college, for example? Some of the indicators that you'd be looking for in a smaller college, you're likely to have a smaller student-teacher ratio. Larger colleges, frankly, might be more well-known, but they may not actually have teachers that are certified professors teaching the classes, or they may have larger lecture hall styles with students teaching the smaller sections. So those are the kinds of tipping thoughts that you can start giving your students to think through those things. Very important, we're obviously looking for educational outcomes, graduation rates. Word of caution on that. There's a 6-year graduation rate and a 4-year graduation rate. Be very careful that we're talking, when we talk, about 4-year graduation rates as opposed to the 6-year graduation rates, which you will find reported on the common websites out there. When we talk about educational setting and location, we talk about how comfortable are you with distance learning, with experiential learning. Is this more of a hands-on pragmatic, even if it's liberal arts education? Is this, if your student is an art student or performing arts student, sometimes it's better to be at a liberal arts for cost purposes, but a liberal arts education that offers a pragmatic approach to that. Does it offer internships? Do you want the flexibility to have a structured versus an unstructured major? There are schools that are known to that. So there's also the component of what you're going to do after that comes in here. Perhaps it's wiser to stand out as an undergrad if you're planning on going to a graduate school, so that you can put your emphasis there. Do you want to be in a city? A lot of students don't really have an understanding of suburban versus city versus rural campus, and the terms are somewhat confusing. Again, a great point of reference is where you live and the schools that are within driving distance of where you live, if there are any. We like our students to take a quick drive-by in some of those schools to give them a sense of what it might look like. Of course, we talked about your family considerations, your values, your budget, the ability to afford. Peter's going to get into that very specifically. And then there's the campus life and intangibles. Did you plan on playing sports, and at what level? Are you looking where there perhaps is a foreign exchange program? What's important in terms of a class? Is it a diverse ethnic or religious community? Is it okay for you to be in a very liberal environment? Is there a requirement from a religious perspective or a social one? Some of the things that we laugh about, is it okay if our students don't wear shoes to class, or the professors? These are the real different little social dynamics that you can really only sense either from talking to other students who are there, but be careful about that as well, or actually visiting the schools yourself, or speaking with us, because we visit for you in a lot of cases. And then, of course, we get to cost. And most people, when they're building their college list, they factor in costs only after the fact. Well, it's a key component in the list building, and particularly as we move to the editing or whittling down phase. And so when we talk about cost, is when we start to use our own tools and resources. Those exceed, like our list building tool that we mentioned, which includes cost-related features and some other things. There's the College Big Board. And these considerations, yeah, we're going to get to that, because all of the things that I just pointed out, we have a database of, I think it's 1,250 colleges now that create a PDF with all of these factors on it that you can either save, print, keep, and it's all in one place, so you're not going from site to site to site to figure this stuff out. And Pete's going to get into that in a second. But before we do, let's move into the third phase, which is the editing phase, or the whittling down of that.
Before we get to that, I wanted to elaborate a little bit about cost, because I think it's important for people to understand that colleges are going to discount. All colleges will do that. There is a cost of attendance. or the sticker price, but that's not what most families pay. But it's the first place that people look, is that sticker price. It's important to understand that net price, which is the difference between the sticker price and the actual discount that most people are going to receive. When I say most people, I mean 2/3 of all families are going to get some type of a discount. Some of those discounts are going to be in the form of need-based aid, and some of them are going to be in the form of merit-based scholarships. And of course, there will be some schools that offer both merit-based awards as well as need-based need-based grants. So it's very important that you ask this question of what you can afford. A lot of times we approach this, we look at what the college can offer us, and we look at what we can get, but it's also very important to look at the other side of the coin and to ask yourself, what is it that we can actually afford? And then what you want to identify is that generosity level of the specific school. So you start with that cost of attendance, and then understanding your expected family contribution, which you can get from our college cost calculator. That's going to be of great benefit, because then you can understand what your net cost is going to be. And with that, you want to understand the opportunity for merit-based aid. It's important, finally, to understand that there are a lot of the pricier private colleges will offer great aid packages. They will do so in a way that surpasses what the in-state university will offer, even though the in-state university may have a lower sticker price. At the end of the day, and we see this for many families, the net price of the pricier private college, the net price will actually be on par or perhaps even less than the net price of the in-state college in your state.